Just getting started here, guys. So just waiting for some people to show up to the chat so we can get going. If you have an answer to the question on the screen, please put it in the chat. I'm curious. And don't forget to hit the like button on the way in. Three people. Hit the like button, please. It's taking a while today. Holy shit. What time is it? 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock on a Friday, guys. Am I going to get any people today? Let's see. Seven people. Guys, please hit the like button on the way in. I'd appreciate it. Jump in the chat whenever you'd like. If you have an answer for the question on the screen, please let me know. Yeah, Bertram, just starting. It's moving slow right now. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Sometimes it goes like this. Maybe I pissed YouTube off and they slowed down my algorithm. I don't know. It's not moving. Nobody wants to jump in the chat. I know there's only 13 of you, but somebody has to. I don't know if we're going to have a show today. The way it's looking. 17 people. All right, it's moving a little bit. Guys, please hit the like button. MAGA supports pedos because they have zero critical thinking skills. That is the perfect answer. Yes. Sorry, I took that off the screen by accident. You are 100% correct. That's the main reason. Yes. That's the main reason. They can't even really think for themselves. They can't. I don't know. They can't reason things out and use logic and say, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right about this. When it comes to anything, like to cover up the Epstein files or, you know, the fact that Donald Trump told Marjorie Taylor Greene, a lot of my friends will be hurt if, you know, we have to release the Epstein files. If you look at anything Donald Trump has done, if you listen to him talk and can't see that he's a con man, yeah, you lack critical thinking skills. Oh, yeah? Where'd she traffic him to, Peter? Tell me. Harris. How did Harris do that? She was the vice president, dopey. How did Harris do that? Harris did it. Is Harris the boogeyman in your story, Peter? Trafficked over 300,000 children. Yeah. So funny. Like, again, you would think they would support Trump, but they can't, or defend Trump. I'm sorry, but they can't. So it's, what about Harris? What about Biden? What about Obama? Dems had 12 years, but Obama was happy with the campaign contributions from Epstein. Dems had 12 years. Did you forget that Trump was president for 4 years between Biden and Obama? This is what the dude up here being suit smiles by you have zero critical thinking skills. It doesn't sound ridiculous to you to say that Biden and Obama had the files for 12 years when before Biden even had them, Trump had them for 4 years and didn't release them. So you have to include Trump. You have to say in the 16 years that Obama, Trump, and Biden were in office, none of them released the files. That's what you'd have to say. It's amazing how you leave Trump out of there. It's amazing, isn't it? Even though a lot of those files, I'm assuming the majority of them come from after that bust in 2019. And Trump had them, but nothing. No response to that. She wasn't the border czar, Peter. She was never the border czar, you dunce. You can look it up any way you'd like. She was simply put in charge of getting to the root cause of migration in Central America. That is it. She was never... Fox News labeled her the border czar. Fox News. You know it's true, Peter. You left Trump out of there. How disingenuous is that? Biden and Obama didn't release the files. Well, wait a minute, but between Biden and Obama, Trump was the president for 4 years. So you would have to include him. You would have. What are you going to say? I'm only going to mention that Biden and Obama didn't release them. I'm going to totally leave Trump out of it. Sounds like a MAGA argument. Biden had the files while it was an active investigation as well. And so did Trump. So did Trump. You forget that? Donald Trump and Fox Propaganda Network have created an army of useful idiots affectionately known as MAGA. Yeah. A lot of the conditioning that led to MAGA amounts of... wait a minute. Let me start over. A lot of the conditioning that led to MAGA amounts to a combination of anti-intellectualism, anti-establishment bias, and a propaganda campaign to convince people that Trump is great at business. Wow. Perfect unknown trader. Or I mean... Jack McKnight, 100%. You look like a pedo. All right, whatever you say. Trump reported Epstein to the FBI, so your narrative is bunk, you paid clown. My God, Peter. He never, ever reported Epstein to the FBI. That never fucking happened. We go through this on every show. Last night, I had to prove it to you like 6 different ways. He never reported Epstein to the police, the FBI, or anyone else. Never. And if so, go get me the credible source that says that Trump reported Epstein to the FBI. Go ahead. Trump is a con artist without talent and a felon who is a narcissistic bully gangster. True. Clinton practically lived at the island, except for the fact that we have absolutely zero proof Clinton ever went to the island. Zero. We have proof Nutlick went to the island. We have proof Elon was trying to go to the island. We have no proof Bill Clinton was ever at the island. She never called herself the border czar. That never happened. Watch this. Was Kamala Harris ever officially made the border czar? Wait. No, Kamala Harris was never officially given the title of border czar, nor was she placed in charge of U.S. border security. See that? While political opponents frequently use the term border czar, Fox News, to describe her role, her actual assigned responsibility was to lead diplomatic efforts addressing the root causes of migration from Central American countries, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. Official assignment, March 2021. President Joe Biden tasked Vice President Harris with leading diplomatic efforts with Mexico and the Northern Triangle nations to address the economic and security issues causing people to migrate. Yeah, she was never the border czar. Fox News named her that. She and Dems let in millions of criminals, pedos, murders, cartels, grifters, grapists, freeloaders in America. That's treason, you goofball. Peter, if I were to ask you how many of them were criminals, how many were pedos, how many were murderers, how many murderers, how many were from cartels, how many were grifters, how many were grapists, how many are freeloaders, what would you tell me? Because there is no stats on that. So it's just you guys saying it. And you guys are also the ones that don't think Trump is a pedophile. So that's how fucking dumb you are, that your opinion means nothing. There are no numbers to back up what you're saying. None. You're just saying it because that's how you feel. Meanwhile, the actual criminals, pedos, murderers, grifters, grapists, and freeloaders are in the goddamn White House and the Trump administration. Truly. It's going to be interesting when Bill and Hillary Clinton start speaking. I think you're going to have a lot to say about Donald Trump's involvement. Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt about it. Most fat feminists don't like Trump. Well, I've never met a fat feminist. And if I did, I probably wouldn't know they were feminists because people generally don't wear that like a label, like on their T-shirt or something. So if Clinton did, we want him to punish NOE. You tell us about what you will do to Trump. Okay, I don't even understand your question. Ninja Fist, $2. Why is the government protecting PDFs? Because Trump is the main PDF and he runs the government. That's all there is to it. And a lot of those Republican motherfuckers are in those files, and they went to Epstein's Island, and they're sick bastards. They are. Annie Wright, you ain't kidding. They are. Hey guys, give me a second to do something here. Literally only take me a second, but while I'm doing it, please hit the like button and subscribe. It's very, very important that you do so. And don't be afraid to throw a super chat into the mix. All right. All of them came here legal, so they're all illegals. They came here illegally, I'm sorry, so they're all illegals. Well, did I call them anything other than illegals? I mean, if you mean they're all criminals, you're talking about a misdemeanor that's equivalent to like a petty shoplifting charge or maybe a DUI. And Trump is convicted of 34 felonies. So you obviously don't care about crime. You guys wore T-shirts that said, I voted for the felon. So please don't pretend you care about crime or criminals. You just get to say that about illegals and it makes you feel good. Yeah, they committed a misdemeanor, which I bet you most people commit a misdemeanor at least once a week. Misdemeanors are like nothing. Everything is a misdemeanor. Everything. How much are you getting paid? Depends on how many people donate. I wish I was getting paid by some, huge entity or George Soros or something, but it ain't happening. You guys have been convinced that anybody who speaks out against Trump is either getting paid to do it, they're mentally ill, or they're lying. When in reality, most of the world despises that man with a fucking passion. Calling Trump a pedo, is that projection? No, Trump is a pedo. How's it projection? Trump is a pedo. That's it. It's like if I called him Trump and you said, is calling Trump projection, calling Trump projection? No, he's Trump and he's a pedo. Sure he did. Yeah. I wouldn't give you money if I got a 1,000% return. I don't expect any scumbag white trash MAGA people to give me money. It's the good people I'm talking to when I say, why don't you donate? Caden, no, it's a fact. Yes. Yep. Because the felonies are fake as fuck. Sure, because you say so. Now, if those same felonies were on Biden's record, you would act like he committed homicide 34 times. You know you would. You would act like they're the most serious crimes ever committed in human history. But because it's Trump, they're fake felonies. All right? You look very unhealthy and miserable. Do I, Caden? Let me see. How big am I? Am I really a big fat guy? It's funny because you see it, but I don't. I want Oh man, how long was I fucking? All right, I'll go over it again. This guy said if I buy a car for 20K, you see the comment. Anyway, that I think you're confused. I think that you think for some reason that Trump was convicted of that. That was a civil case. That was not a criminal case, and he lost that case because he lied about the value of his properties. So what you're saying is if I buy a car for 20K and sell that for 30K, that is a legal transaction. If I take out a loan based on property value and pay it back, unless you lie about the property value. It says on loan applications, I swear under the penalty of perjury that everything I said in the statement is true and correct to the best of my knowledge. So if a guy who has more knowledge about his property value than anybody else lies about it so he can get loans, that's a crime. Let me see. They were up to felonies without an underlying charge. No, you just don't know the underlying charge. It's 450,000 now, huh? You just keep raising the number. Sorry, I muted myself by accident. You're obese, by the way. Chrissy, am I? Chrissy, you are one dumb bitch. You know that, right? I'm obese. Chrissy, how about I drop a link for you and you come up here and show us yourself? That would be hilarious. I bet you weigh 75 pounds more than me. Guarantee it. The bank doesn't send an assessor. That is on the bank. Contracts are signed. Debts are paid. There is no crime. Yes, there is, or at least it's something that could be that you could be sued for, and that's what happened. And he lost. I know you guys think, oh my God, this only happens to Trump, but I got some news for you. Judges and shit don't only place judgments on Trump for things, and they don't only criminally convict Trump on things. There's laws in this fucking country, and you're okay with Trump breaking them, but nobody else. So if you lie on a loan application, it doesn't matter if they send somebody out to assess the value. That's not how it works. He is swearing under penalty of perjury that this is what his property is worth, and he lied. And again, that's not even what he was convicted of. That was a civil case. Here, since you won't believe me, Patrick, I go through this on every show. There's basically election interference. I'll let somebody else explain it to you. What was the underlying charge in Trump's felony case?
Donald Trump was convicted in New York on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. Here are the details of the underlying charges. 1. The specific charge. The charges relate to violating New York Penal Law Section 175.10, which involves making false entries in business records with the intent to defraud, commit another crime, or aid, conceal the commission of another crime. 2. The context. Hush money. Prosecutors allege that Trump falsified records to disguise reimbursement payments made to his former lawyer, Michael Cohen, for $130,000, hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in the days before the 2016 presidential election. 3. The other crime. Under New York law, falsifying business records is normally a misdemeanor. It was elevated to a felony, a Class C felony, because it was deemed to be done to conceal or aid another crime. Specifically, a violation of New York state election law that prohibits conspiring to promote or prevent the election of any person to public office by unlawful means. 4. The documents. The 34 counts corresponded to specific invoices, checks, and general ledger entries made in 2017 to disguise the payments as legal expenses. And 5. Verdict and sentencing. A New York jury found Trump guilty on all 34 counts on May 30, 2024. On January 10, 2025, Judge Juan Merchan sentenced Trump to an unconditional discharge, meaning he faces no jail time, fines, or probation, although his status as a convicted felon remains. Trump has maintained his innocence, calling the case a political witch hunt, and is pursuing an appeal.
There you go. It's funny, you guys know, I'm not even sure you know, but I think you know of what the charge is, the falsifying business records, but somehow you don't know why he falsified business records. You don't know that the reason he did that is in itself, the underlying crime, that's amazing. It's almost like you're all stupid, you know? Yeah, that's what most people would take from it. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like and subscribe. It's very, very important. Trump has been trashed since birth. Absolutely. It's wild because it's not just politics, it's psychology and self-preservation on parade. Oh, 100%, Jazzy. Trump isn't even eligible to have a firearm in the U.S. Oh, no, 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 no. Trump lost the same rights any felon lost. Anybody convicted of a felony. Yeah. It's actually very hypocritical. It's bullshit because Trump, like if a felon gets caught in a house with a gun, they're going to jail. It doesn't even matter if the gun belongs to them. But Donald Trump, he's surrounded by them 24 hours a day. Isn't that some shit? The Democrats are the ones that we told law that would have made a felony for child trafficking. How ironic. Democrats are the ones that we told law that would, what does that mean? What does that even mean? Can you write that in a way that makes sense, like in a coherent way? Those counts were never felonies before they contorted the law. They didn't contort the law. Jesus Christ, guys. If you commit misdemeanors to cover up another crime, they become felonies, period. It doesn't matter if it's Trump or me or you. That's just the way it works. Everything, there's always enhancements when it comes to charges and stuff. There's tons of shit that could enhance your charges, okay? That's how it goes. So he committed misdemeanors to cover up another crime. Therefore, the misdemeanors became felonies, period. No parole. Yeah, well, let me ask you something. How did Judge Juan Merchan get away with this? If it's complete bullshit, how did he pull it off? How come Trump, with all the money and resources in the world, didn't get this overturned immediately? Tell me why. Jury instructions were not bogus. Juries do not have to agree unanimously on an underlying charge, period. They don't. All these maggots on here literally boosting your content. True fans, they are. Merrick Garland wasn't a personal attorney for Biden. No, Pam Bondi is a personal attorney and Todd Blanche for Trump. But no, you know how I know that? Because Merrick Garland prosecuted and convicted Joe Biden's son, Hunter. But yet he wouldn't rush the cases along on Trump. They could have made it so that Trump could have never been president again and would have gone to prison. Merrick Garland was a pussy. That's what he was. I just told you. Falsifying business records 34 times to cover up another crime. That's it. That's all there is to it. Left-wing jurisdiction. Yeah, okay. I know everything's always set up to persecute Trump, right? Everything is always just he's the biggest victim in the world. The guy that was born with a silver spoon in his ass and has been lucky his entire life. He inherited $400 million from his fucking Klansman father, the scumbag that he is. He failed business after business, still wound up landing on his fucking feet, became a reality TV show host, and you dummies voted him into the White House twice. Yeah, but he's a big victim, I know. Let me tell you something, 2027 DM. If I commit a crime in New York, guess where I get tried for that crime? New York. Yeah, that's if you don't like the jurisdiction, don't commit crimes there. Okay. By the way, Donald Trump's lawyers had as much say in who sat on that jury as the prosecution did. So if Donald Trump's jury said, "Oh, you have a bias, you're a left winger, I don't want you on the jury," then they wouldn't be on the jury. You understand? You've just been convinced. You guys have been brainwashed into believing that Trump can do no wrong. He's perfect. You don't understand. It's not about Trump. It's not about Bill. It's about those elites laughing that no matter what, the victims are not going to get justice. Don't let them divide us. I don't want to be united with these fucking pieces of shit, these MAGA people, ever. Okay. I couldn't be happier about being divided from them. That's number one. And number two, it's about the fact that this administration is the only one that's gone out of its way to cover up the files. Only this one. I hate all of them really, but Trump more than anyone else. 19 likes. Well, the majority of the chat is MAGA people. You know that, right? Yeah. But go ahead, guys, hit the like button if you wouldn't mind. I'd appreciate it. Not MAGA people, the good people. He's not a victim. He's not perfect, but the case was bogus. But it wasn't, because if it was, Donald Trump, the most powerful man in the world, would have had it overturned. Am I wrong? It's been how long now since he got convicted? A couple of years? Nothing. Hasn't been overturned. I wonder why. Because it was a legit case. Trump inherited 20 million and turned it into billions. Yeah, okay, in your fucking dreams. Between 1970 something and 1997, Donald Trump inherited, in today's money, about $500 million, $400 million. About. Okay, that's just a fact. You could deny it all you want, but it's a fact. He didn't start out with $20 million. Can I do better? Yes, anyone could. Garland was beholden to his pals at the Federalist Society, which includes many conservative judges, lawyers, and power. Power, yeah, of course. It's a left-wing jurisdiction. Well, if you commit a crime in a left-wing jurisdiction, that's where you get prosecuted. And by the way, you just say that. That's who's to say that? You know how many Republicans and how many liberals live in fucking Manhattan? How many? How many? Ninja Fist, $2. Notice Trump went after Epstein to get the files. No, he didn't. Tell me how he did that. Go ahead. Tell me how they did that. How Trump went after Epstein to get the files. Yeah, true. What's up, Xanatos? I haven't seen you in a while. Guys, please hit the like button, subscribe. I'd appreciate it very much. And if you can, send a super chat or something to contribute to the show. That would be phenomenal. No, they haven't. No, that's actually not true, PV Sweetie Pie. I think there's a good chance Biden even could have beat Trump. Kamala ran for 107 days. Trump ran for years for his second term. Kamala got 107 days, and she only lost by 2 million votes. Trump got beat by Biden by 7 million votes. So it's not that there's less likable candidates. Everything got screwed up because asshole Biden didn't drop out fucking soon enough. That's it. Notice the only people Trump ever beat was Hillary and Kamala, and he never won to him against a man. Never. This country just doesn't want to elect a woman. Period. And what else was I going to say? I forget. Trump is the most unlikable person in the universe, though. I think the majority of you don't even like him. Honestly, he's an absolute fucking scumbag. Absolute scumbag. And he only won against Hillary, let's be honest, because of what James Comey did right before the election. He got lucky there, too, you know? How do you bankrupt multiple casinos? By being a complete and total fucktard. Then why are they still redacted? Exactly. Why didn't Biden or Obama release them in 2009? Why didn't Trump release them between 2017 and 2021? Can you tell me that? Want to be YouTuber? Leslie, I've been on here 4.5 years. I've made probably, I don't know, well over $500,000 since I've been on here. And I'm far from a failed YouTuber or wannabe YouTuber, believe me. You can look at my channel. I have interviews with Hollywood celebrities and shit, you stupid bitch. 8 years Obama didn't do anything about these files. 4 years Biden did nothing about these files. So shut up about Trump, you Uncle Fester. Robert, do you have any idea how stupid you sound? Look what you just did. You said 8 years of Obama, then you skipped 4 years of Trump, and then said 4 years of Biden. So why didn't Trump release the files? Why didn't he release the files in his 4 years? Why not? Tell me that. Of course he did. He did everything in his power not to let these files get released. And shit, he fucking, there's still 3 million files that Trump won't release. Trump worked for the FBI and was undercover to expose Epstein. You guys are so full of shit. The amount of claims you have to try to say that that Trump in any way, shape, or form took part in Epstein's demise. You're out of your fucking minds. He never called the FBI. And if he did, please go get me the credible source and I'll read it to everybody. I'll apologize and then I'll remove my channel from YouTube. Go ahead. Why are 90% liberals and Democrats on the list, Pedo? Well, we haven't even seen a list, so that's complete and total bullshit. And the majority of people we've seen in the files are Republicans. So that didn't work out for you, did it? Leslie, you want to call in and debate me? If I give you a number, you're going to call in and debate me? I'm brainwashed. So, I mean, you'd obviously whip my ass in a debate, right? You want to do it? You're a fucking scumbag. You support pedophiles, piece of shit. For a guy who billed himself as a world-class expert in negotiations, Donald Trump is remarkably bad at this. Yeah. No one cares who you interview, and he won't answer anyone's question. Yeah, except for the tons of questions I've answered already. Yeah, you're right. I won't answer any. He thinks I can read every comment. The victims, CNN had all said Trump did nothing. No, CNN couldn't say that he did anything because he sues everybody. That doesn't mean anything. If they said he did nothing, they just meant they have no proof of it yet. And that was before all this shit was released, by the way. Also, the victims, you're talking about 12 of them. There's over 1,000 Epstein victims. You're talking about 12 that said Trump didn't do anything personally to them. What you forget about is the one that did, Katie Johnson, the one that said he raped her in 1996 with Epstein. So the survivors did say he did something. So the first black president is going to take down all the white billionaires. Hell, you didn't even like him for wearing a tan suit. Oh, I know. Well, everything is Obama should have done it, but they forget Trump. Not to mention Trump's first 4 years where he didn't release the files. He could have released them since July of 2025, anytime he wanted. And he refused to the point where Thomas Massey and Ro Khanna had to author a discharge petition and fight to get 218 votes, only 4 of which were Republican, by the way, just to force a fucking vote on the House floor to release the Epstein files. They had to create a law called the Epstein Files Transparency Act because he refused to release them. Now they do. Medicopa, I know. It's insane. They have to. God forbid they ever admit that they were wrong. They'll lose everything before they admit they were wrong. Worst thing MAGA said to me today was trying to counter my propaganda claim with I'm allowed to believe most illegals aren't pedos or anything. That's what they said? You're allowed? Okay. Trump's name was redacted by hundreds of FBI employees. 1,000, according to Kash Patel. He testified to this in Congress. In May of 2025, Pam Bondi went to Trump and said, hey, you're all over the files. Then they took 1,000 FBI agents off other cases, which pissed Dan Bongino the fuck off. And they put them in place simply to redact the names. Or to redact Trump's name from the files. So they've been working on that since May, and they still didn't do all the redactions. Think about that. We have files with his name in them that they didn't redact. The Clintons were all over Epstein Island. The left and right are both guilty. It's become a bipartisan issue, honestly. All right, PV Sweetie Pie, I just want you to tell me which you're talking about, Hillary and Bill, or just one of them? And when were they at the island, and what proof do you have? Because there is zero. I researched this shit all day, every day. And don't get me wrong, Bill Clinton probably is a pedo, right along with Trump. They're accused of some of those crimes together, both of them there at the same time. But you guys keep saying that that Clinton went to the island, and there is zero proof he ever went to the island. Zero. Bro, Robin, I've been researching and studying this shit for years. You guys are dumb. You're the dumbest people in America. That's actually a fact. You don't even know it. Robin, if you want to call in and debate me, I'll give you the number. Where'd that other bitch go? Once I said, once she'd come debate me, she bounced. What a surprise. She didn't even say inappropriate. She said probably not appropriate. And then she said in a letter to a judge, because there was a lawsuit over the diaries and everything, she said, my dad never did anything of the sort to me as far as SA or anything. She said, I love him dearly, and my words were grossly misinterpreted and taken out of context in the diary. That's an exact quote. She said they were used to lob false accusations at innocent people. So maybe that's why. Because the same girl who said that said, no, he never did anything like that to me. No. Yeah, oh, you ain't kidding, Strictly Cycling. You must be real blind to not see what's happening right now. Trump is absolutely guilty. Oh, you're talking to them. Yeah, without a doubt. Veto-proof bill forced Trump to sign the Epstein files release. Exactly. The whole House voted for it. The whole Senate, except for one guy, I think. I forget that Yosemite Sam motherfucker. Get his name. Yeah, Trump had no fucking choice but to sign it. He had no choice. Imagine Biden had spent years judging scantily clad teenage girls like Trump did. Oh, imagine if Biden spent, decades of his life talking about wanting to fuck his own daughter, or if he looked at a 10-year-old girl on an escalator and said, I'll be dating her in 10 years, or, if he speculated about the size of his 4-year-old daughter's Tiffany's titties when she grows up, how big her titties will be. They'd be outside the White House with fucking pitchforks. They probably are, PV Sweetie Pie. Probably. This is all you wackos do. Oh, pedophiles. Oh, he's a felon. LMAO. Sorry, you're one dumb motherfucker, aren't you? You guys are still claiming that Joe Biden stole an election that was perfectly legit. You guys are still trying to say that Biden is a complete and total pedo. A guy who's not even in office anymore. But you're telling me we're crazy for talking about the fact that Donald Trump, the current leader of the free world, is a pedophile and a rapist. He was even found civilly liable for rape. It's crazy that we're talking about that. Yeah, if Biden or some Democrat was in office right now and he was all over the files, you guys would definitely not be talking about that all the time, right? Yeah. Why do liberals call Trump a pedo? Because Trump is a pedo. Now, let me show you some things. I got to step away for a second.
Charges that Jeffrey Epstein was running a sex trafficking ring in the early 2000s that included underage girls as young as 14 years old.
Donald Trump in 2002 said of Epstein, he's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side.
He routinely spoke fawningly of Jeffrey. He admired Epstein's lifestyle.
Your daughter, she's beautiful. Can I say this? A piece of it.
Yeah. She's actually always been very voluptuous.
What does Tiffany have of Marlon?
She's got Marlon's legs. We don't know whether or not she's got this blood yet.
You were playing tennis and you came off the court. Quote, look at that piece of I would love some of that. It so happened that Trump was referring to Cohen's then 15-year-old daughter, Samantha.
I had the impression that he was interested in younger women and that, women would age out for him.
Miss Teen Universe? Yeah, that's like giving Jeffrey Dahmer a cooking show.
I'll go backstage before a show, and everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. Yeah. I standing there with no left.
Donald Trump is heard making questionable comments about a young girl.
You going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
lawsuit against the presumptive GOP nominee alleges he raped a girl when she was 13 years old.
Prince Andrew answering questions for the first time about his friendship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know Prince Andrew, but it's a tough story.
Trump has been photographed with Prince Andrew as far back as the year 2000.
Ghislaine Maxwell is accused of helping Epstein sexually abuse underage girls.
I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach. But I wish her well.
You know about sexual predators and things like that. I mean,
You are one.
All right, I was going to say that.
Don't talk shit. I don't care. I don't want to hear about TYT. I don't want to hear about any of that. Those are clips of Trump, his own words, many of those clips. None of them are taken out of context. You can look any of those clips up on your own and watch the whole thing. Trump looked at a 10-year-old girl and said, I'll be dating her in 10 years. Trump talked about his daughter. That doesn't even show. When he was on The View and they asked Ivanka, what do you have in common with your father? And she said golf and real estate. Then they asked Donald, what do you have in common with your daughter? And he said, well, I was going to say sex, but I can't really relate that. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would you say sex about your daughter? He also said she's always had a very nice figure. I've said that if she wasn't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her. Yeah, he's not a pedo. Czar, $5. You could talk all day long. Where is the proof? With Trump all over the files, show proof. You say you researched for years. Print proof or stop talking. Well, first of all, Czar, you can go fuck your mother, faggot. Don't tell me to stop talking. Okay, who are you? Sorry, libs, but every now and then. I never use that word against a gay person, I promise. Guy has the balls to tell me to stop talking. There's files with his name all over them. That's the proof. Here's one. There's one right there. That's from the Epstein files that were released, the 3 million files. Okay, and here's what it says. Caller reported, well, I got to start here. Okay. Complainant reported his ex-girlfriend's daughters were victims of Epstein, and one was murdered while working as a limousine driver. Complainant recalled picking up Donald Trump in 1995 to take her to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. During that ride, complainant recalled some of the things Trump spoke about on his cell phone were very concerning, and described being a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median and within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him due to some of the things he was saying. Complainant noted Trump repeatedly stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone. One of complainant's ex-girlfriend's daughters told complainant Trump raped her, as did Epstein. Caller is talking about crimes committed against her. She claims to be a prisoner. She references Lisa Marie Presley, the British royal family, President Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. Let's see. Complainant reported her neighbors sought modeling gigs at the Trump modeling agency in New York City between the years of 1998 to 2000. Complainant reported neighbor allegedly went on cruises set up by a recruiter or head of the agency, and once showed complainant a photo of the recruiter whom complainant recalled looking like Epstein. Complainant reported neighbor was allegedly raped several times during this period. Caller provided information to reference prior civil case from 13 years ago that involved Trump and mentioned Jeffrey Epstein with a minor. Complainant following up after a call with NYPD officer regarding her previous tip, reporting that she was forced to perform sex acts when she was 13 years old and pregnant in 1984. Complainant also reported that there were high-profile individuals involved in her sex trafficking and the murder and disposal of her newborn daughter. Complainant reported Donald Trump participated regularly in paying money to force her to perform sex acts with him and alleged Trump was president when her uncle murdered her newborn child. Caller was taken by boat to Epstein's Island. Caller said it was complicated and involved Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Caller became a school counselor and had a meeting with the school principal, Linda Kitts, and police officers where the caller was in. Oh, I'm sorry. And a police officer where the caller was informed there were pictures of herself with Epstein. Caller reported that the school was mad at her for not being a Trump person and that the school wanted her to testify and say things against Andrew Cuomo. The FBI and Donald Trump were on the phone during the meeting. Caller believes the FBI has baby pictures of her with Epstein. Caller reported that in 1987, a friend, Victim 1, was out drinking and ended up at Trump Plaza. Victim 1 saw Donald Trump and wanted to meet him. An unknown man approached her and offered to introduce her to Trump. The unknown man gave Victim 1 a drink, and Victim 1 woke up naked and sore with $300 on the bed. Victim 1 didn't remember how she got to the room. She remembered seeing a flash of Trump's face. Victim 1 called the caller and told her she thought she had been raped. Victim 1 did not go to the hospital and have a rape kit performed because she didn't think anyone would believe her, especially because she was drunk. Victim 1's husband's business had problems with suppliers, and Victim 1 believed Trump was behind it. Victim 1 also started dating a lawyer, identified as unknown, who was married. Victim 1 had a fight with her lawyer boyfriend and went to a bar. Victim 1 left the bar with a man who no one in the bar recognized, but who seemed familiar with Victim 1. Victim 1 was never seen again. A few years ago, remains were discovered that matched the description of what Victim 1 was wearing when she went missing. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like and subscribe. In 2004 or 2005, Sir Ivan Wiltzig hosted a party where Jeffrey Epstein, Sammy Sosa, and Donald Trump were in attendance. Patti LaBelle's PR agent stood at the door. At the party, caller met an individual who was approximately 18 to 23 years of age, who was brought in from Oklahoma for a modeling job, but then sold to a man in France. Several women were being auctioned, and a woman possibly known as Colette was the madam. A couple of years later, caller saw Colette at the Cheetah Club in New York, and she told one of Santos' friends that Jamie Foxx was interested in spending a night with her and that he could pay her a lot of money. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. The guests were elder men and included Elon Musk, Don Jr. Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump were there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was there, also with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald J. Trump raped me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present. That's just some of it. I have pages and pages and pages of Trump being accused of raping kids. Now you go ahead and tell me how all that's bullshit. Yeah, I know. You're a bold-faced liar spreading lies. Obama and Clinton are the only presidents in Epstein's flight log scumbag. You want to see something? You want to see how stupid you are? Was Obama ever mentioned in Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs?
No, Barack Obama has never appeared in the officially released flight logs, passenger lists, or court documents associated with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
While many high-profile politicians, business leaders, and celebrities appear in the documents, extensive reviews and fact-checks have determined that Obama is not among them. 1. Verified logs versus fake lists. Multiple fake, altered lists have circulated on social media claiming to show a flight log that includes Obama, along with other celebrities like Tom Hanks or Whoopi Goldberg. Fact-checkers have confirmed these to be false. 2. The actual logs, verified flight logs, which were released as part of court cases, such as the Jeffrey Maxwell case, detail passengers on Epstein's private jets.
Now listen, is Donald Trump mentioned in Epstein's flight logs? Wait a minute. Is Donald Trump mentioned in Epstein's flight logs? Trump traveled on Epstein's plane more than previously thought. Newly released prosecutors' emails say, oh, come on. Oh, it cut me off. I got to subscribe, you motherfucker. Let me ask Grok. Hey, Grok. Hey, Grok. Was Donald Trump named on Epstein's flight logs?
Checking the facts on this one. It's tricky. Yes, Donald Trump was named on Epstein's flight logs. Multiple releases, especially from late 2025, show he flew on the plane at least 8 times between 1993 and 1996. Some trips had Ghislaine Maxwell aboard. Others included family like Eric or Tiffany. And one had just him, Epstein, and a 20-year-old woman. No logs point to him ever landing on Little St. James Island, though. Those routes were mostly East Coast stuff, like Palm Beach to New York.
Yep.
Trump's denied being on it at all, but the docs from DOJ and prosecutors say otherwise. Doesn't prove he did anything wrong. Zero evidence ties him to the crimes. Just that they hung out back then. Why do you think he keeps saying he wasn't?
Yeah, it's MAGA. MAGA says he wasn't on the flight logs, but Obama was.
Checking the latest on those logs. Hold on. Look, the flight logs and all 3 million pages the DOJ dumped last month named Trump 8 times. Like I said, no island trips, no shady stuff proven. But he was on board. Obama, 0. Not a single entry. No logs, no emails, no photos that aren't doctored memes.
So there you go. And I've said on this show plenty of times, there is no proof that Clinton or Trump went to the island. It doesn't mean they didn't commit crimes. It doesn't mean that at all. Bill or Trump. It just means there's no proof they ever went to the island. Ninja Fist $1, $2. They not like us. It's in their DNA. I know, man. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. Trump is in the logs. Yes. You guys, I'm telling you, at some point in your lives, MAGA, you have got to learn something. You've got to do some reading. Stop listening to Fox News. Stop listening to the biggest liar in the history of America, Donald Trump, and actually go out and learn something. Everything you guys say is the complete and total opposite of the truth. Yeah. Oh, well, the controller of Grok is Elon Musk. So how'd that work out for you? This is one podcast that is all lies. Epstein was being investigated in 2006, and if Trump was guilty, it would have came out a long time ago. It was Trump who asked the FBI to look at Epstein. No, it wasn't. Christ almighty, guys. He called. I'm so tired of answering the questions. Did Donald Trump ever go to the FBI about Jeffrey Epstein? Did Donald Trump ever go to the FBI about Jeffrey Epstein? Listen closely, and this is why you guys get confused. According to newly released Department of Justice documents, Donald Trump contacted law enforcement about Jeffrey Epstein in July 2006. Now listen. Details from an FBI summary of a 2019 interview with former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Ryder. Remember that, not the FBI, the police chief of Palm Beach. Reporting misconduct, Trump called Ryder shortly after Epstein's first arrest in Florida and reportedly said, "Thank God you're stopping him. Everybody has known he's been doing this." So in other words, that's all Trump said. He didn't call in and say, "Oh, by the way," he can't. How are you going to do that? Would you guys think for a fucking second? If Trump admitted he knew specific things about Jeffrey Epstein committing these crimes, Trump would go to jail himself. It's astonishing that he actually told the police chief that he knew about the crimes. I can't even believe he did that. If he was anybody else, he would have been arrested. But that also blows his story out of the water when he says that he I lost my train of thought. Oh, when he says that he never knew about Epstein's crimes, which he just said again recently. Well, this proves that he did know about his crimes. This is all he said as far as a warning. Trump advised the chief that Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell was evil and an operative, suggesting that investigators should focus on her. Personal encounter. Trump mentioned he had once been around Epstein when teenagers were present and stated that he got the hell out of there. Yeah, which is exactly why he called the police chief. It was a cover your ass thing. That was it. He never called the FBI on Trump or on Epstein. He never worked as an informant. This is all in your fucking heads. All he did was call them as a preemptive thing, like, oh shit, Epstein might name me. Let me call the police chief and tell him how glad I am that he caught Epstein. And let me just mention that, well, I was in the room with Epstein and some teenage girls, but I got out of there right away. Yeah, sure you did, Donald. Sure you did. Oh, they consider a reliable source? Jesse Waters. It's TOO, but what's funny about it? Somebody said this is too funny. A lot of people knew but said nothing. Well, we know Trump knew but said nothing. We don't know who else knew and didn't say anything. How your logic would demand witnesses be arrested for the crimes they testified against. Well, nobody said anything about Trump testifying against anything. If you call the FBI and say, hey, I happen to know that Epstein is molesting children, they're going to say, how do you know? And what's he going to tell them? Then they're going to say, wait a minute. You've known about this, but you haven't told us, which is a crime in itself. If you see a murder take place and you don't call the cops and report it, you're going to jail, period, if they find out that you witnessed it. That's just the way the law works. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button and subscribe, and don't be afraid to contribute with a super chat or something of that sort. If you'd like, I'll put my Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal in the chat. Why is it still MAGA and not the issue just with all pedos? Kind of proves the point of our society being on fire since Biden didn't do shit either. But Mike, Trump didn't do shit. You forget? You guys are incredible. You're so incredibly full of shit. Donald Trump was the president with the files before Biden. And what did he do about it? Donald Trump has been president since January of 2025. And we're just getting some of the files only because there was a discharge petition that forced a vote on the release of the Epstein files, and a law called the Epstein File Transparency Act was put into place. Thanks to pretty much only Democrats. There was 4 fucking Republicans on that discharge petition. And Trump tried to talk Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene out of signing it or into taking their names off of it. That's why it's about MAGA. MAGA are the only people that are covering up for defending and protecting pedophiles. That's it. It's only them. Yeah, but that had nothing to do with Trump. Had nothing to do with Trump. Hey, Ghislaine was convicted under Biden. Do I give Biden credit for that? No. Biden did not release the files because Trump did not do anything, so no ammo. Wrong again. Guys, listen, you realize what you're still saying is if Trump was in the files, Biden would have released it. But there's no more if. He's in the files. I just read some of it to you. He's in the files, guys, 1 million times. Do you know that? It's been all over the news, in case you don't know. 1 million times in the unredacted files. Just what we got so far, I don't even know. It was 38,000, but I'm sure, now that they saw the unredacted versions, it's probably about 500,000, considering that there's still 3 million more to go. Biden didn't release the files for a reason. And then guess what? It's the same reason Trump didn't release them at least the last 2 years of his term. He could have released what he had in the first 2 years, but no. The last 2 years, he didn't release them. First of all, he wouldn't have released them no matter what. Biden might have. Trump would have never. Okay? But we could say that it's for the same reason that Biden didn't release them. If you want to give him the credit of saying that he would have, then we could say it's because of the same reason Biden didn't release them. Biden administration couldn't release the files because it was still under investigation. Simple as that. Same thing in the last 2 years of Trump's term when he had all that shit. There was still investigations. Ghislaine was still being prosecuted. The FBI was still getting information sent to them. There was ongoing litigation. There was all kinds of shit happening. And guess what? Guess what changed that? Ghislaine's last appeal was shot down by the Supreme Court. And then in July of 2025, and only in July of 2025, Pam Bondi said the case is closed, no further investigations, and then it became okay to release the Epstein files. You dumb motherfuckers. Is Ja Rule in the files? Based on his size, he might be in there as one of the victims. He seems like a child. Both sides are, but you gotta say more than that. Like, I'll say there's Democrats that I believe are guilty. I believe Bill Clinton's guilty, but that's the only Democrat we know of. Bill Gates is in there, but that's apparently because he fucked a Russian hooker. It wasn't a child. He got an STD. But as far as people accused of attempting to go to the island, going to the island, or being accused of raping children, you got Donald Trump, Nutlick, Howard Nutlick, and Elon Musk. That's it. 1 million times, yes. Facts: Epstein should have been stopped after his first arrest. Or facts are, you meant. Yeah. He was cut a sweet deal and allowed to continue to go on with the pedo ring. He was running. Donald Trump was totally aware of it. Totally. He admitted it in 2006. So now we know that Trump knew that Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile. And during his term, he did nothing about it. Nothing. And you guys keep asking about Biden because all you care about is what can I say about Democrats. Meanwhile, you're so fucking stupid that you can't say Biden and Obama did shit without including the fact that Trump didn't do shit. God almighty, it's like teaching life to 5-year-olds on here. I swear to God. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit like and subscribe. It's very, very important. I don't care about MAGA. Just the good guys. Just the good guys. Hit like and subscribe right now if you can. And for the love of Christ, don't be afraid to donate through a super chat or a super sticker. That would be wonderful. Wonderful, I tell you. And keep subbing, guys, because I didn't get enough on this show. That's for damn sure. Anyway, knock it off. Trump didn't arrest anyone as if he's a prosecutor. Well, they claim he was an informant. That even Mike Johnson, watch this. Was Trump ever an FBI informant against Epstein? Look.
As of February 2026, there is no evidence that Donald Trump was a formal FBI informant against Jeffrey Epstein. The claim, made by House Speaker Mike Johnson in September 2025, was subsequently walked back by Johnson, who stated he likely did not use the right terminology and was repeating what others had said. Here is a breakdown of the information based on recently released records and statements. 1. The informant claim. In September 2025, Speaker Johnson stated that when a rumor about Epstein first surfaced, Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago and was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. 2. Clarification and doubt. Johnson later backtracked, noting he did not have direct knowledge of such an arrangement and was referring to...
See? Guys, everything you believe, everything you've been told is bullshit. He was never an FBI informant, you dopes. And even when he called the police, he just called the police to thank him so he could cover his own ass. Oh, thank goodness you stopped him. And then he admitted he knew about his crimes. So that's what you should be saying. Holy shit. Trump knew about Epstein's crimes as early as 2006 and never said a word. Yeah, he never said a word. Like the news is real. Yeah, all the news is fake. The weather, every fucking thing. You guys are as retarded as they come. I'll tell you why. The smartest thing Trump ever did, and he's not a bright guy, but he knew early on, he has so much fucking dirt in his past, the affairs, everything he's done, stiffing unions that built his buildings, grape accusations, all that shit. He knew that he had to discredit the media. So he brainwashed you dumbasses into believing that Anything said about him that's negative, anything at all. Jesus, I didn't have my mic on this time. I'm using the webcam mic. It probably sounds like shit. Anything said negative, anything that's negative about him reported is either fake news. It's some mental illness like Trump derangement syndrome the person has who's saying it. Or I don't know what would be there's a third thing I feel, but I forgot. Yeah, that's it. It's all fake news. He's convinced you that the news isn't real. Meanwhile, all this stuff that I just told you and proved to you, it's all been on the news, except for Fox News. And that's what you listen to. You believe all news is fake, except for the actual fake news network. You guys are so Do you guys think entire networks are going to lose everything so they can lie about Donald Trump? Trump would sue. He sues anybody who says anything about him he doesn't like, even when he doesn't have a real case. So he would be suing news agencies 24 hours a day. The majority of what you hear on the news is 1,000% true. There's the bottom line. I hate to tell you that, but it's true. Believe me, okay? The stuff they say about him is true. Is Biden in the files? No. Neither is Obama. Trump was saying it was a hoax. Oh, yeah. You remember that? Yeah. Remember, it was a Democrat hoax. He made up every excuse in the book after he started refusing to release the files. Yeah, it's a hoax. It was a Democrat hoax. Now it's not a hoax anymore, right? So it's a Democrat hoax. Meanwhile, he tells you at the same time it's all Democrats in there. He's been telling you for years it's Democrat pedos. Then he tells you it's a Democrat hoax. So you would have to believe, and I'm sure you do believe this, that the Democrats came together sometime around 2015. And they said, we are going to create this hoax. We are going to put all these files together, and we're going to name Trump in it 1,000,000 times. We're also going to throw Bill Gates and Bill Clinton under the bus, even though they're fellow Democrats. And then we're going to not release it. We're going to let him become president the first time. 2016, yeah, let's not release it, even though we could stop him. And then they said, it's okay, though, because we'll use it for 2020, so he won't win that election. And then they said, no. We went through all this trouble of creating this hoax, but let's not use it for 2020 either. We'll use it next time. If he loses and he runs again, we'll use it in 2024. And then 2024 came along and they said, nope, we're still not going to use it. Get the fuck out of here, guys. But fucking Democrat hoax. I feel like if all other networks are against Trump, it proves the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds have him in a headlock. That's why it's hard to get the truth out. They're not against Trump. They're not. They cover for him more just as much as Fox News does. No, he wasn't Justice for Rivera or Justice, whatever the fuck your name is. He wasn't. But Trump was. I mean, not the freak offs, but I mean, I could show you. There's 36 pictures online that are unique, that are legit, of Trump at parties with P. Diddy and Melania too. Yeah, the joiners. You know, Fox News one time showed a video of this like riot going on at some border somewhere. And they told you guys, this is our southern border. This is happening now. And it was people like throwing Molotov cocktails or fucking each other up. Turns out it was somewhere in South America. That's the kind of shit they do. They also showed you a bus that was empty, but the seats looked kind of like hijabs and shit. Like the top, it looked like somebody wearing that Muslim garb. And they swore to you this was a bus full of Muslims coming into the country, you know, to kill yous, of course. And then it was found out, no, that was actually an empty bus and the seats just looked that way. I could go on for years. You guys are still bringing up something from, what was that? I mean, I don't know. That was decades ago, the CNN Afghanistan thing. Yeah. Meanwhile, Fox News, just what? 5 years ago, something like that, they had to pay the largest defamation settlement in American history because they lied about the Dominion voting machines and they convinced you dolts that the election was stolen. And now we found out, of course, that it wasn't. Well, if it's the Republicans that are the child rapists, that's what I'll call them. But I also say Bill Clinton. Did I read you the one with Bill Clinton in it? It's Bill Clinton and Trump accused of raping a girl together, I believe. Let me see. All right. Redacted, they blocked out the name. Reported, and this might not be, Bill Clinton's down here. Okay. Redacted reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred. And the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. At age 16, while modeling, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein. This is a different one, of course, at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, caller reported she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old girl named Katie. Caller named other individuals involved in big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complainant reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 1995 and 1996. Complainant reported Ghislaine Maxwell as the madam and broker for sex parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Complainant reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Complainants reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security that if she ever talked of what went on there or who she saw, she would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other cunts. So, there you go. Well, if you know the story, a lot of these girls were runaways and shit. They were runaways. They were girls that Ghislaine Maxwell found at places like, I don't know, Mar-a-Lago, and Ghislaine would talk them into. There's multiple documentaries on Netflix about this, and you should really watch them. These were not girls that were fucking, grown men behind their parents' backs. Ghislaine Maxwell would find these runaways and stuff and tell them, listen, if you want to make some money, we could pay you X amount of dollars. You just got to come back to this house with me and give a couple of men massages. And then the girls would go. The girls would wind up being raped. But, they consented, I guess, but they're too young to consent. You know what I'm saying? They were sexually assaulted. They went there to give massages, and they wound up having sex with old men. Okay? Then Ghislaine would talk them into, well, listen, we can keep paying you also. And these are girls that had nothing. Also, if you get some friends, we'll pay them too, and we'll give you like a finder's fee. If you could bring another couple of girls, then they would bring another couple of girls, and Ghislaine would do the same thing. And they would bring another couple of girls, and on it went. There is an email in the Epstein files that says it's either from Epstein or to Epstein. I can't remember, but it says, another one just arrived, cute and sexy, Brazilian, 9 years old. So it wasn't just those runaways and shit Ghislaine was finding. They were having children trafficked to them from other countries and every fucking thing else. How come none of you showed up at his inauguration? How come none of you showed up at his birthday parade? If you maggots love him so much, how come they had to pay people to be at his birthday parade? Good question. Quan, I'm not blocking anybody, brother. You disagree with me constantly. Everybody in this chat has been disagreeing with me, and they're not getting blocked. There's mods in the chat with wrenches. If they feel somebody needs to be blocked, then they block them. You don't know shit. You just talk shit like a sissy. Okay, just or maybe we'll run into each other someday. We could see who's a sissy. Maybe. You never know. You say it like you was there. You say it like you was there. Do you mean I say it like I you would say you say it like you were there? That's how you would say that correctly. And I'm reading it directly from the Epstein files. I'm not saying it off the top of my head. And the stuff I'm telling you about with the runaway girls and shit, it's literally on a fucking documentary that was made about Epstein, like maybe a year or two after that big bust, after he died and all that. It's on fucking Netflix. You can watch it. It explains where all these girls came from. 12-year-old girls sent here from other fucking countries, all types of shit sent directly to Epstein. And Gawain would find girls like Virginia Giuffre at Mar-a-Lago and groom them and bring them to Epstein. That's a fact. It's not from AI generation. God almighty, guys. I'm reading from the files. You know where these files came from? This isn't Google, you dipshits. These files came from DOJ.gov, DepartmentofJustice.gov. None of this is AI. It's all files. There's more from DOJ.gov. That's what I'm reading, you dipshits. I'm reading the actual Epstein fucking files. Unbelievable. You guys are so fucking uninformed. It's unreal. You think I'm reading off AI, you dipshit? Oh my God. All right, guys, listen, I got to get the fuck out of here. Yeah, that's what he said. That's right. I got to go because I have shit to do. I appreciate you being here. For the few people that have contributed monetarily, I appreciate that. And I'll see you guys next time. Hit the like button and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. If you're a good guy, it would help me a lot. I fight against dopes like this every day, and I do a good job at it. So please hit the like and sub. Good night, guys. Or, sorry, later, guys. I'll be back on probably around 6 something. Peace.